Hello and welcome to 2Crazy Media. I'm Matthew and welcome to another weekday video. Today's going to be a little bit of a different topic as I've already covered the news on Sunday, and instead of doing a normal topic we've done on the Tuesday or Thursday videos, whether it's ranking games or doing a review or something like that, I'm instead going to be doing something new to the channel that I'm going to kind of do at the end of every month, and that is going over all the upcoming games of next month. We are in the final week of February. The year's already going by so fast. I can't believe we're already at the end of February, about to go in March. And so because of that, I was like, you know what, let's kind of go over all the biggest games coming out next month by day, kind of discuss them all, dive into each one, and kind of just talk about my excitement level, maybe a reason why some of you should be excited for all these games and all that, and just talk about some good games that I'm excited to play next month, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Again, this is going to be something I will probably do at the end of every month, just kind of going over, especially when we are going into months like this March that have a ton of game releases. I might even do the same for movies, for all the movie releases coming next month as well. Maybe stay tuned for that on Wednesday or Tuesday for possibly that video. Could also be a good idea to kind of talk about all the movies coming next month, but today's going to be about all the video games. I'm not going to be talking about every video game coming out next month, because that would just be a lot of smaller indie games and early access games to talk about, a little too much, honestly. A lot of games that I've just never heard of. If you want a more in-depth kind of video, I recommend KindaFunny. They always do, which this channel, big fans of, very much based off of that channel. And that's actually, that video and all that stuff is actually is the inspiration for this video, exactly the inspiration, but they will probably dive even deeper into all the games coming out. So if you want an even deeper explanation of each game and just kind of diving deep, I don't think their video is out yet for March. It should probably be coming out the next day or two, but when they do upload that, definitely go check that out for more in-depth. But still stay here for this video, because to get to hear my opinions and all that stuff. So yeah, not gonna go over every game, only just kind of the big ones and the ones I deem to kind of want to talk about. And also we'll just kind of be going over them, the release date, the consoles and places they're coming to, and just kind of talk about the game a little bit, give my opinion and all that. And yeah, that's all. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. We are going to kind of go day by day with all the days that video games are coming out. So obviously video games don't come out every day. Usually it's the most video games come out on sometimes on Tuesdays, but usually it's on Thursdays and Fridays of each week. So how about we get started? And final thing before I get into the games, I'm sure a lot of you are curious of where I'm finding this all. And that is just, there's a website called releases.com. I highly recommend. They have a full calendar of all the games and all the movies and TV series that are coming out every day. Very in-depth, so many different games. You even have start date and end dates for some live service games, like their seasons and all that stuff. So I always keep up with it. Every day I check releases.com to check out what's out today, what's coming tomorrow, all that stuff. So highly recommend. If you also want to look at anything else, any other games, definitely check out releases.com, because that's what I'm going to be using for this video and all future ones, kind of talking about upcoming games of each month. So March is a pretty crazy looking month, I will be honest. Kind of like this February was pretty wild, obviously, getting ready. As of recording this on Tuesday, February 24th, we are just a few days away from Resident Evil Requiem. Very excited for it. I am pre-downloading it right now on my PlayStation, so cannot wait. So excited to jump in on it Thursday night at 9 o'clock. So, and then also ton of videos on the channel next week. My review next week, going to be ranking all the Resident Evil games, mainline ones, including Resident Evil Requiem next week as well on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Going to be a crazy Resident Evil week next week. So that's this month. That's just in a few days. So let's get into March, as we are only just a few days away. And the first game we're going to talk about today is releasing on is releasing on Tuesday, March 3rd. So pretty soon from now, and that is Scott Pilgrim EX. This is a new Scott Pilgrim game. If you don't know the movie Scott Pilgrim, it's a really fun movie about a guy named Scott Pilgrim battling this girl that he likes, all of her evil exes. It's a ton of fun. It's a great movie. Highly recommend if you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim yet. And there's been a good amount of video games, I feel like, based, at least from what I remember. But this is a new one, and I'll read you the description of it on release.com. So, Scott Pilgrim EX is an action-adventure game where players can fight as Scott Pilgrim, Ramona Flowers, and more as they battle through the fractured time and space of Toronto. The combat gameplay is driven by instinct and improvisation, a hectic ballet of fists and flair that rewards strategy, spontaneity, and a good bit of brawling chaos. String together stylish combos, experiment with wacky weapons, and unleash over-the-top special attacks. Characters can be upgraded with special badges that enhance their stats and grant special bonuses. Players will explore a whole city of interconnected levels to meet old and new faces, complete quests, and discover hidden areas. Multiplayer co-op, local or online, that's up to 4 players joining in the action, making it a fun, dynamic experience. And this is coming to basically all consoles, so both the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it's getting a Switch 2 update or not, and PC. So yeah, basically all consoles. Now, not all these games that I'm going to be talking about today are games that I'm personally looking forward to or personally going to play. There's just too many games coming out next month, and I don't have enough time. I'm in school, I've got schoolwork and stuff to also deal with other than just playing games, so not all these I can play. This being one of them, this is not a game that really interests me or the type of gameplay that I'm into, but if you are into Scott Pilgrim or into these kind of side-scroller beat-em-up action games with some fun other mechanics in it, then definitely this is one to check out. So cool pixel art, and it just looks like a fun time, and Scott Pilgrim's always great, and all that stuff that kind of adapted from it is always cool. So definitely check this one out on March 3rd. The next game also coming out on Tuesday, March 3rd is Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. This was revealed at the PlayStation State of Play just a few weeks ago. This is a remaster of, I believe, the final Legacy of Kain game, Defiance, and the description on releases.com says, return to Nosgoth as Kain and Raziel clash between fate and free will. Updated HD visuals, refined controls, and a modern camera. So if you're into this one, pretty cool. It's coming to basically all platforms as well. So Switch 2, Switch 1, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. I don't think Xbox One actually. So that's the one console. If you have that one, you probably will be missing out on this game. But every other console, you can go ahead and play Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. Again, not a game I'm personally going to check out just because I've never really heard of the Legacy of Kain games and never played any of them before. So those are before my time of when I got into video games. But if you do like these games and want to check out the remastered version, definitely go check it out. Alrighty, so those are the 2 games coming out Tuesday, March 3rd. Now on to Thursday, March 5th. Here we have a pretty big day for a lot of games coming out for the first weekend of March. First one we have, and probably one of the biggest games of the month, and that is going to be Marathon. This is Bungie's next game after Destiny 1 and 2, both games being absolutely massive in the first-person shooter market, and Marathon looking to hopefully be the same and have a similar impact where it's going. Hopefully Bungie is really rooting for this to do well, and so am I. This is a game that I'm not too interested in. As some of you may know, I don't love live service games that much. They don't really gravitate towards me. It takes like a really certain kind of live service game to get me going, and even then I'd still rather just play games like Resident Evil Requiem even more. But if you are into Marathon or looking forward to this, this is coming out Thursday, March 5th, so just 1 week away, so not too far away. The game itself is a first-person extraction shooter, so very similar to Arc Raiders. This is kind of its biggest competitor is going to be Arc Raiders. So if you're enjoying Arc Raiders now, you're enjoying the extraction shooter kind of game, then this may be one to check out for you. It's got a very cool, unique art direction going on. Just super cool, futuristic look. Everything looks really interesting. They've been using like some Radiohead songs in the promotional market, which is a band I love, so I think that's pretty cool. Definitely makes it stand out more for me, at least. In terms of the story, the description reads, an immense ghost ship looms in low orbit over a forsaken colony. The 30,000 inhabitants who once resided on this planet have vanished without leaving any clues. Enigmatic signals allude to tales of peculiar artifacts, long inactive AI, and hordes of undiscovered treasures. You are a cybernetic mercenary, a runner, and Tau Ceti 4 is your destination. You are not alone. Numerous others, working independently or as part of a crew, dare to explore the uncharted territories and confront the extraordinary in a battle for survival, wealth, fame, and even notoriety. Who among you will etch their names across the cosmos? So, pretty cool story description for it. This is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And this is one, I know that they're doing a server slam this upcoming weekend, so starting February 26th and ending probably on either March 1st or March 2nd. So I don't know, this might be like the server slam this upcoming weekend. I might check out maybe 1 or 2 matches of it just while I'm playing. Obviously, most of my weekend is going to be focused on Resident Evil Requiem, but maybe to take a break so I don't finish the game too fast, or kind of just to not tire myself out too much. I might maybe play 1 match or a few matches of the Marathon Server Slam just to try it out. This is not a game that I don't necessarily think I'm going to purchase at launch, but a game I do want to just check out because it is Bungie and it is a PlayStation first-party game. And so whenever PlayStation does release a first-party game, I'm always somewhat interested in it. So yeah, this it's really just the art direction that's getting me more interested in this. I think if it wasn't for the art direction, I would just kind of look on it as another extraction shooter, which Arc Raiders didn't really get me. I never tried it out just because it's not my kind of game. I'm not really a multiplayer guy, and I don't think Marathon would be the same if it weren't for just the cool futuristic art direction look they're going with it, which it looks very cool. So that is coming Thursday, March 5th, so pretty soon. Alrighty, in terms of other games coming out on that same day, another game we have is Planet of Lana 2, Children of Belief. This is the sequel to Planet of Lana 1, which is like a pretty well-beloved indie game. It is from developer Wishfully, and the platforms, it is coming to Xbox Series X and Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and 5, Switch and Switch 2, and PC, so basically everything. The description reads, the saga continues, their home saved, a deeper journey begins. Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf is an ambitious cinematic puzzle adventure that doubles the size and scope of the original. Unravel a deeper sci-fi story where Lana confronts her own demons and a new threat tests their unbreakable bond. I never played the original, but I've seen gameplay of both Planet of Lana 1 and 2, and it looks pretty cool. So if you're interested, definitely check this one out, especially if you love like good cinematic puzzle games. I think this one looks pretty gorgeous and pretty fun. So yeah, that is coming pretty soon. All right, next game on the same day. I know a lot of games coming out Thursday, March 5th. The next game we have is a pretty big indie game, and that is Slay the Spire 2. This is coming to early access on PC. Slay the Spire 1 is like a pretty big indie game, kind of a big one that everyone has played. It's a card game, and kind of like the big card game juggernaut, other than I'd say like Balatro. This game is pretty big, at least the first one was, so I wouldn't be shocked if Slay the Spire 2 was another big breakout success for the studio. This is coming to just PC because it is early access on March 5th. No say on when it's coming to consoles or anything like that, if it will, and anytime soon. But at least if you are on PC and enjoyed Slay the Spire 1, definitely check this one out. It's going to be probably a big one for the indie community this upcoming month. And we'll probably review well as well. Just to read the description real quick. After a millennium of anticipation, civilization eagerly awaits the reopening of the Spire's doors. Embark on a return journey to the Spire, confronting both allies and adversaries in the sequel to the definitive roguelike deck builder. How far will you climb and what secrets will you uncover at the summit? New challengers enter the arena, each with unique card decks, mechanics, and personalities. Experiment with various archetypes and refine your mastery at your leisure. The Spire eternally beckons the bold. The Spire has transformed. New foes, events, and treasures lie in wait, with each playthrough bringing a fresh array of rooms and items. Whether you opt for daring builds or a cautious approach, endless strategies await. Encounter strange dilemmas and face off against the formidable bosses of each act, navigating a constantly evolving challenge. So yeah, this is going to be a big one. I've never played Slay the Spire before, but always kind of its combination between a roguelike game and a deck builder always kind of interested me. I thought that was a pretty cool combination of games, and from what I heard, it works pretty well. People are really like Slay the Spire 1, so I'm sure this is going to be a big hit. So yeah, that is coming March 5th to PC on Early Access. And then the final game coming out on Thursday, March 5th, busy day, is Pokemon Pokopia. This is an upcoming life sim, town sim game from Pokemon, kind of a Animal Crossing-like, if you will, but Pokemon instead, where I'll read the description. Pokemon Pokopia is a life simulation game where players can create their own Pokemon paradise. The game features Ditto as its protagonist, who has transformed to look like a human. As Ditto, players can explore and learn moves from the Pokemon they befriend, such as Bulbasaur's Leafage to grow greenery, or Squirtle's Water Gun to revive dried-up plants, expanding their capabilities and helping them create an inviting environment to attract a variety of Pokemon. Players can collect materials, build furniture, grow vegetables, and create homes for Pokemon, allowing them to experience a cozy, slow life with Pokemon, one that they build themselves from the ground up. Over time, players can develop a town of their own and invite other players or Pokemon to visit. Pokemon Pokopia also features a day-night cycle linked to real-world time, changing weather, and in-game locations with their own unique characteristics. This is probably not one I'm going to check out, but looks pretty fun, honestly, looks pretty cute. So yeah, if you haven't seen the design of the Ditto that becomes a human that you play as, it looks honestly really kind of disturbing, I'd say, seeing Ditto kind of become a human or try to take human form. But it does look pretty disturbing and also a little goofy. So I like that. It's a nice little touch to it all. But I think it looks fun. It's kind of just Animal Crossing, but mixed with Pokemon, where you are kind of creating your own town. But you also have to deal with, you want Pokemon to kind of live in the area. You can, as Ditto, you can change into use abilities from different Pokemon to build your island. Like I talked about, like the Bulbasaur example. It's all really interesting, and I think is going to work well, hopefully, for a sort of Animal Crossing life simulator type game. People have already like previewed this game and have said pretty much good things about it. So that's great. This is coming to just Switch 2 on March 5th. Definitely check this out if you like Pokemon or life sim or just are looking for a good game coming this month on Nintendo Switch 2. Alrighty, that is a lot of games coming Thursday, March 5th. We got Marathon, Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Spire, Slay the Spire 2, and Pokemon Pokopia. A lot of stuff happening that day. Alrighty, let's move on to the next day of releases. So coming Tuesday, March 10th, Tuesday, March 10th, we have one game coming, and that is Ghost of Yotei Legends. This is less of a game and more of a free expansion for Ghost of Yotei, which just came out this past October or September, one of the two. I'm totally forgetting, but game I very much loved. Absolutely massive fan of that game. I had said in a YouTube video a few weeks ago, Ghost of Yotei is my second favorite game of last year, and I am so looking forward to Legends. To read the description on releases.com. Legends is a cooperative multiplayer mode featuring a fantastical supernatural setting in contrast to the grounded world of Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Yotei Legends will offer 2-player story missions and 4-player survival matches. This time around, you'll play as one of 4 character classes and try to defeat demonic giant versions of members of the Yotei 6, plus a variety of new enemies that fight alongside them. So yeah, this is sort of a free expansion to Ghost of Yotei. So if you own Ghost of Yotei, this is at no added extra cost, which is awesome. It's just a new mode that is being added that you can probably just select from the main menu or wherever if it's anything like Ghost of Tsushima, you can just switch into it anytime you want. Around the open world, there'll be areas for it. And I think this looks awesome. I actually never got around to playing the original Legends on Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm definitely disappointed I didn't, because it looked like a lot of fun. But now I'm really excited to check it out. Even though it is like an online game, and I probably won't be playing it for too long, I'll just go through each mission, complete it all, and probably just not touch it again unless I really love it, which I hope I do. But I'm just really in it for the fun combat, because I just love the combat in Ghost of Yotei and just the feeling of the game and everything and how beautiful it is and all that. So I'm just in it to just have more content for this game that I love so much. Super looking forward to it. There are 4 character classes, probably each with maybe different weapons, other attributes and all that stuff. You've got I think it's really smart that they're taking all the Yotei 6, who were the bad guys in Ghost of Yotei, and kind of changing them into like demonic versions, since they were all kind of based off like animals. Like you had the spider, you had the kitsune, and they're kind of all being changed to like demonic versions, so like a massive spider and all that stuff. So it looks really, really cool. Definitely going to be awesome, and it's just a more fantastical, supernatural version, and I think that could really work well in this sort of Ghost of Yotei design and art direction, all that stuff. It looks beautiful. So very much looking forward to checking this one out on March 10th. Alrighty. The next day of release is coming Thursday, March 12th. We have 3 games I'm going to talk about on today's video coming out on that one day, so another busy day just like Thursday, March 5th. First game I want to talk about, probably the biggest one of the day, is going to be John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. This is probably the first game of this month that I'm actually somewhat interested in, maybe checking out and purchasing. This is going to be to kind of read the description of it. Just to kind of read the story first before I go into anything. So, in the near future, an experimental attempt to harness the power of the Earth's core ends in a terrifying disaster, the release of the Sludge God. This eldritch abomination begins terraforming the area, turning soil to scum and living to undead monsters. However, the genius behind the experiment has a plan to make things right. All he needs is a team of competent, highly trained mercenaries to get the job done. Unfortunately, those are all too expensive, which is why he's hired the Toxic Commando. This game actually looks like a lot of fun. This is from the developers over at Saber Interactive, who have done other games like the newest Space Marines game, which was really good, and also World War Z, which is a fun zombie game. I have had some fun with World War Z. I think it's an enjoyable game. So obviously they are pretty good with making these zombie horde-based games. This one looks no different. It is a first-person, up to 4-player zombie horde-based sort of game where you have different missions, you load into this big map, you have different objectives around the map to complete. You can drive vehicles, which I think is pretty cool. I love any game, even when it's not a racing game, that you can drive vehicles in, so always kind of that interests me. There's like different towing mechanics on like mud stuff, so that looks pretty cool. There's a lot of first-person shooting combat, some cool weapons in the mix, and all that. This is, again, coming March 12th to PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. And it just looks like a lot of fun. I am interested in this one. I'm going to wait. This is one where I'm probably going to wait to see reviews and see what people think about it. Kind of just hear some opinions on it before I do actually end up buying it or not. Though it is one that I feel like looks fun, looks interesting, and everything that I've seen so far looks enjoyable. I don't know if it's one that may keep my interest for a long time after playing, as I don't know if I'll be able to find enough people to play with, honestly, that I personally know. But if any of you would like to play the game with me, let me know, because John Carpenter's Toxic Commando could be some fun. There could be some fun that is had with this game. But that is coming March 12th. Another game coming on Thursday, March 12th is 1348X Voto, however you say that. This is sort of a smaller indie game coming out, but I just want to include it because of some of the voice cast in this game. If you haven't heard anything about this game, the description on releases.com reads, "Brave the harsh realities of the Italian late medieval period through the eyes of a courageous noble whose life is about to change fundamentally. Follow Ada, played by Albie Baldwin, a young knight errant, on a brutal journey through Italy to find and save her closest one, Bianca, voiced by Jennifer English. 1348 Ex Voto is a thrilling third-person action-adventure game inspired by classics of the genre and chivalric story tropes. Discover a 14th century-inspired Italy, a cradle of political strife and rural exodus. Banditry, mercenaries, and religious zealots run amok while pestilence festers in the countryside and cities. The reason I want to bring this one up is because Jennifer English is a part of the voice cast. I think that's really cool. Obviously, every game Jennifer English has been in the past few years has won Game of the Year, from Expedition to Baldur's Gate 3 to, I believe, another one even. She was a part of the voice cast and it won. So, yeah, she's kind of got this, she's just great. Jennifer English is amazing. She won last year for Best Performance at the Game Awards for her performance in Expedition 33, which is a very well-deserved win. And that's why I just want to bring this one up, because she's a part of it, so obviously that got my attention, and I think it's got a lot of other people's attention. This is probably not a game I'm necessarily going to check out, personally, but it's a cool indie game, a third-person medieval fighting game. So you got third person, you got a sword, and you're fighting enemies with it. It looks like some cool combat could be involved, so that looks awesome, with hopefully a good story. And this is coming out on Thursday, March 12th, to PlayStation 5 and PC. Alrighty. The next game and final game I'm going to talk about releasing on Thursday, March 12th is WWE 2K26. Some would argue this is the biggest game of that day, of Thursday, March 12th, and I could agree with you, honestly. This is going to be a pretty big one. This is the new yearly entry in the long-standing WWE 2K series. This is 2K26. I've tried out the WWE 2K games before. I've maybe played a few hours of some of them when they come to PS Plus or something, but I've never really sunk my teeth into any of them, just as I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. I don't know much about wrestling. I think it's something that I do kind of want to get more into and learn more about WWE, as I find it pretty cool, and I enjoy watching clips of WWE and just all the different characters and their personas and walking out on the stage and how cool and crazy the audience gets and all that stuff. And also with the amount of that KindaFunny talks about WWE, it also gets me interested in it as well, even though I don't know much about it. And this game, I don't have much to say because I don't know much about it and about WWE in general. Just looks like a cool sequel to another entry in the WWE 2K series, with, I believe it's CM Punk on the cover. So I know a little bit about wrestling. I know some of the people, including CM Punk, who is on the cover art, which is pretty cool. I like him. But yeah, this game looks like a lot of fun. Definitely probably not something I'm going to check out, but if you are a WWE 2K26 fan, then definitely this is going to be a big one for you. I already know it's one of the best-selling games on PlayStation right now, which is wild. I think Resident Evil just passed it a few days ago because it is about to come out, so everyone's buying it. But before then, it was immediately WWE 2K26 as soon as pre-orders came out, which is pretty cool. You can definitely tell there's a high demand for that game. Alrighty, how about we move on to the next day, and that is Friday, March 13th. So one day after, we have a pretty big game release, and that is going to be Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection. This is the third game in the Monster Hunter Stories franchise, so not Monster Hunter main, Monster Hunter World and Wilds and all that stuff. This is a separate sort of series in the Monster Hunter universe, where these are, this one is coming to PlayStation 5, Switch 2, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. And it is more so of I believe it's also third person. I've never played a Monster Hunter Stories game, but it's third person, but it's kind of more like Pokemon, where you hatch monsters. They're called Monsties, which I think is funny. And you can kind of grow them and have a bunch of different monsters. It's kind of like Pokemon in a weird way. To read the description on releases.com, this all-new adventure is the latest installment in the popular RPG series where monster riders embark on thrilling journeys across the vast world of Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection tells the story of two nations on the path to ruin. Amidst the growing crystal encroachment facing the lands of Azuria and Vermiel, the discovery of a mysterious egg gives cause for hope. From the shell hatches a monster long thought to be extinct, a Rathalos. However, this glimmer quickly gives way to despair as a second monster emerges from the egg. The twin Rathalos share the same mark as the twin sky-scale Rathalos, portents of destruction that harken back to a civil war waged 200 years ago. As the environment deteriorates and monsters face extinction, the flames of war once begin to stir. So yeah, pretty cool story description, I must say. Definitely not one I'm probably going to check out, as I've never tried a Monster Hunter Stories game before. Not really my thing, I'd say. But if you are interested in the Monster Hunter franchise, and more specifically Monster Hunter Stories, this could be a big one for you. Yeah, I just like the Monsties. I think that's a fun little name for all the monsters, and I believe you can like even ride dragons. Don't quote me on that one, I might be wrong, but at least from like the photos and the screenshots, it looks pretty cool. So I believe there's also a demo out, so if you want to try the demo, definitely go check that out. But yeah, that is coming Friday, March 13th. Alrighty, time for the next day, a week later. On Tuesday, March 17th, another pretty easy day for games, we've got MLB The Show 26. This is another kind of similar to WWE 2K, where it's another like yearly release game. Yearly release, and this is the new game in the MLB The Show franchise. This is also a kind of a long-standing game series of MLB games from the developers over at Sony Sony San Diego. This is I remember this making waves years ago because this was like one of the first Sony first-party games to come to Xbox. I remember that years ago, people were like, whoa, like I can't believe I'm seeing the PlayStation logo on my Xbox. And now, it's crazy to think we thought that when every Xbox game is on the PlayStation, we even see more PlayStation games coming to the Xbox. But this is a yearly follow-up in the MLB The Show series. I played one a long time ago on Game Pass, just to try it out. I'm not the biggest MLB fan. I don't know much about MLB. I don't really keep up with it or watch it, but if you do enjoy these baseball games and are looking forward to this is coming out March 17th on Switch, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. Yeah, don't really have much to say about this. Just new MLB game if you are looking forward to this. Alrighty. Now we are looking to Thursday, March 19th. And this is probably going to be the biggest game of the month. By far, easily the biggest game. Not even probably. This is the biggest game of the month and one of the biggest games of the year. And one so many people, including myself, are very excited for. And that is Crimson Desert. That's right. On Thursday, March 19th. So a little bit more than halfway into the month, we are getting a massive title in Crimson Desert. This is coming from the studio over at Pearl Abyss. If you don't know the last game, it's Black Desert Online. So interesting transition from an online game like that to now Crimson Desert, which is a single player only, story focused, open world action game. I'm sure watching this, I'm sure most of you watching this have seen at least a little bit of footage of this game. This game is like the game that everyone kind of talks about it doesn't look real. You know, I've said the same on the channel before multiple times where I'm like, this game just does not look real. The more I watch it, it's like, wow, this game is crazy. I won't believe it's real until I get my hands on the sticks. That's my whole thing with this game. I do think it's real and all that stuff, obviously, but worries like how it's going to perform on consoles with just how crazy this game looks, especially on like a base PS5. That's what I'm worried about. How's it going to perform on my base PS5? I don't have a Pro. I don't have a crazy PC with like a crazy setup and everything. I just have a base PS5, so we'll see how it performs on there. Hopefully not too bad. Hopefully it can still hit like a consistent 60 frames per second. You would hope. But yeah, no, this game, I will quickly read the description Welcome to the beautiful yet brutal continent of Pywell, from the snow-blasted mountains of Quaiden to the verdant expanses of Akapen and the towering ridges scattering the crimson desert. This land is a testament to nature's grandeur. Yet amidst the beauty, the continent stands locked in a war as factions vie for unprecedented power. Discover adventure, explore exciting locations, and fight thrilling battles as you travel across an incredible open world filled with wonder and mystery. Join Cliff, captain of the Greymanes, and his comrades as they embark on a relentless journey to defend Pywell and fulfill their mission. Along your perilous path stands both dependable allies and countless foes who will stop at nothing to see your downfall. Face trials to uncover the truth of the catastrophe looming over Pywell and restore peace to the continent. Yeah, I can talk about this game for forever, honestly. This game just looks insane. It's one of my most anticipated of the year. I think when I made my list a few weeks ago on like a Tuesday or Thursday of my most anticipated, this was I think this was a part of my 3 honorable mentions. So still a game I'm very much looking forward to. This is definitely a day one for me. I obviously want to wait to see how the performances and reviews truly are, but I think this is still going to be a day one purchase. It just looks crazy. I love open world games. I'm kind of a sucker for those. I just kind of enjoy exploring big worlds and with like fun ways to get around and just fun mechanics, and this game seems to be that, where I think the one thing that people are a little skeptical on is the story. I think myself included, they seem to be focusing so much on the mechanics of the game and how many mechanics there are. There are so many. You can fly mechs, you can fly dragons, you can have crazy slingshot powers and fly with wings, and Spider-Man like web shooting stuff and like web swinging, and so many different things, so many crazy powers and weapons and features and different things. Or you can ride bears. Like this game there are floating like islands in the sky, kind of like a Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. This game very much actually does remind me of like a mix between like Tears of the Kingdom and like a Witcher, where it kind of has that like vibe of the Witcher like setting and all that, like this beautiful open world with these cool like medieval towns and stuff, and this setting where you are like a guy with like a sword and hammering your sword and your all that stuff and in a mix with that and like the crazy just experimentation of a Tears of the Kingdom, where it really does seem like you can experiment and create new things and try out crazy combinations of weapons and abilities and moves and all that stuff. There are wrestling moves you can do. This game looks wild with the amount of features and things in the open world, from side missions to enemy bases to just whatever weird powers you can find and stuff around the map. The one thing that is that I'm a little worried about is the story. I do think with a game with this much content being added day one and just this much crazy mechanics and all that stuff, the story could take a little bit of a hit. But then again, I think even if like the story isn't the best and it's just fine or not even great, I still think the game is going to be an all-timer, even if the story isn't great, just because if the game can really deliver on all the crazy mechanics and it feels good to play and it performs well and all that stuff, and the open world isn't just boring and empty, this game could be great. So it doesn't necessarily need a good story to be a great game. I'm just saying that's the one thing I'm a little skeptical on. Still day one for me. Definitely going to try this game out. Cannot wait for it. Yeah, I think a lot of people online are saying this could be like game of the year quality. Like this could be a nominee. I wouldn't be shocked, especially if it does hit and it is good. This could definitely be a game of the year nominee. I hope it is because I want every game coming out to be good, and especially this one. This one looks awesome. Very much looking forward to it. Hope I enjoy and hope most people enjoy it as much as people are anticipating it, because this is going to be a massive one. Definitely the biggest game of March. It's crazy to think this game has been like teased and shown off for so many years now, and now that it's actually coming out, the hype for it is crazy. If you haven't seen some of like the videos that Pearl Abyss has been putting out, some like the breakdown videos that are like 10 minutes long each, kind of talking about the world and different features and all that stuff. It's like base building even. You can like create your camp and like manage that. It's crazy how much stuff is in this game. It's wild. So yeah, no, definitely check some of those videos out if you haven't already and you are looking forward to this game. This game looks insane. will definitely be, this is definitely the one game of the month I know I'm 100% checking out and gonna be making content for. So stay tuned for that. March 19th on Thursday, we'll be definitely putting out content for it the following week after, giving my reviews and all a bunch of other stuff. Who knows, really, this game is kind of crazy and big and massive, so definitely looking forward to it. Again, coming PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5, with even a rumored Switch 2 version, which is pretty cool, but not coming out on that date. That'll be coming later. Yeah, that's enough about Crimson Desert. The game looks awesome. Cannot wait to play it. March 19th. Super looking forward to it. Definitely like the big day one of March for me, and probably the biggest game of the month. Hoping it can live up to the massive expectations, because the expectations on it are pretty crazy right now. Alrighty, just only a few more games left to go to talk about in today's video. Just 3 more actually. So coming out on the same day, so Thursday, March 19th, is going to be Death Stranding 2 on PC. That's right, this game is already out on PlayStation 5. I talked about it in my video of my favorite games of last year. Death Stranding 2 is my favorite game of last year. I absolutely love Death Stranding 2. What an amazing masterpiece of a game that is. And finally it's coming to PC. So if you're on PC and not on PS5 and you've wanted to try out the sequel to Death Stranding 1 and just the masterpiece that Death Stranding 2 is, definitely give this a try. I know a lot of you are going to be busy playing Crimson Desert, including myself, but if maybe you don't want to check out Crimson Desert, or you've always wanted to try out Death Stranding 2, it's been a game you've been wanting to play for so long, definitely check this game out. Highly recommend. It's a fantastic game. They're adding some new stuff to it, obviously coming to PC, including some feature enhancements like unlocked frame rates, ultra-wide support, upscaling, and DualSense features, so pretty cool. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Definitely try it out on PC if you haven't played it yet. Obviously, if you're on PC, you haven't played it yet, and if you want to play it, definitely give this one a try on March 19th, same day as Crimson Desert. Alrighty, just 2 more games left and 1 more day to talk about. So, the final day of next month with sort of big releases is going to be a week later on Thursday, March 26th, so a full week after. So if you want to check out Crimson Desert, you got a full week to play until you got the next weekend of 2 pretty cool games, I must say. The first game I want to talk about is Life is Strange Reunion. This is a sequel to the last Life is Strange game, Life is Strange Double Exposure, which came out a few years ago and was pretty well beloved, pretty well liked. This is the sequel to that. To read the description, Chloe Price was Max Caulfield's partner in crime. Losing her is Max's greatest regret. Now Chloe has come to Caledon University. Haunted by nightmares and impossible memories, Chloe needs Max's help, but Max is already in crisis. In 3 days, a deadly inferno will destroy the campus. Max's rewind power has brought her time, but she can't prevent the blaze alone. The fire will force Max and Chloe to make devastating decisions. Can they find a future together before everything burns? I've never played a Life is Strange game, I'll be honest. Just never gotten around to checking the series out, so I don't know much about this game. I think one of these characters is returning and hasn't been in the game for a while, so that's kind of one thing I've heard people talking about. If you are into Life is Strange and you enjoyed the last one, definitely check it out. Life is Strange Reunion will be releasing on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch 2, again on Thursday, March 26th. And now, the final game that I'm going to talk about today, the final, I'd say, big game releasing next month in March to close out the end of the month, is going to be Screamer. This is one I'm very much looking forward to as a racing game fan myself. Screamer is a all-new game from the developers over at Milestone, who have, if you haven't heard of them, they've done like the Hot Wheel Unleashed games the past few years, which I've always enjoyed. I think those are really just fun arcade racers. Definitely 2 games that I've enjoyed and checked out and had a good time with, and so I'm really looking forward to Screamer. To read the description, Screamer, the 1995 title that pushed the boundaries of racing games, set a new benchmark in the genre, and brought the excitement of virtual races from arcades into players' homes. Embracing the trailblazing spirit of the original, Milestone has reimagined its most iconic intellectual properties, combining over 30 years of expertise in racing games to craft a brand new experience with standout fighting mechanics is destined to leave a lasting impact on the genre, just as the original did in the 90s. This brand new Screamer seamlessly blends high-octane arcade action with revolutionary gameplay dynamics and a deep storyline enriched by interwoven character arcs. This is coming to Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. If you haven't seen anything about this game, highly recommend going out, watching a trailer. This game looks awesome. This is another arcade racer where you're on tracks, you're racing. You can do like time trials, you can do like arcade races, you can do story mode races, and different types of races. It's very much a game focused on racing and destruction, which is pretty cool, kind of like a Burnout game. This very much reminds me of that. This game kind of talks about like fighting mechanics. I've seen some like gameplay and previews of this game being like some cool like boosting stuff where you can boost into enemies, and you've got like shields and stuff that you can equip and to stop people from boosting into you and destroying you. Just looks like a ton of fun. It looks like a good like Burnout like kind of like game. It has a cool story with like an anime art style, which is very cool looking. Definitely fits sort of the vibe it's going for. The story, at least from what I've seen, looks awesome so far. I'm definitely interested in it. The drifting looks cool, just the racing, the car designs are awesome. Sort of this futuristic Japanese design to all the cars and stuff, and it just looks so cool. Like super unique looking game, just super cool game. Definitely looking forward to this one. This is coming out Thursday, March 26th, so the final game of the month of March before we get into April with even more big games. But yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. This will probably be one I check out. Hoping there's like a good demo before, like a week or two before release, so I can check it out, see how like the racing game feel it, because that always is really important to me, of just how the car feels, how the handling is, because that's always kind of a red flag, is when games kind of come out and the handling isn't good, and that kind of ruins the whole experience for me. I think handling matters a lot in racing games, at least for me. And so this is one that, with all these destruction and fighting mechanics, I hope the car handling itself could also look cool and be a good mix between feeling good and like kind of realistic, but also feeling like an arcade and feeling like you can easily drift around a corner and not have to try too hard to get a good drift in. So yeah, definitely a game I'm looking forward to. So that is all the biggest games coming out next month in March, just a few days away from March. To kind of go over some of the biggest releases again, just real quick, after a lot of games I just talked about. On Tuesday, March 3rd, we have Scott Pilgrim EX and Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. On Thursday, March 5th, we have Marathon, Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf, Slay the Spire 2, and Pokemon Pokopia. On Tuesday, March 10th, you have Ghost of Yotei Legends. On Thursday, March 12th, you have John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, 1348X Voto, and WWE 2K26. On Friday, March 13th, you have Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection. On Tuesday, March 17th, you have MLB The Show 26. On Thursday, March 19th, you have Crimson Desert and Death Stranding 2 PC release. And then finally, Thursday, March 26th, you have Life is Strange Reunion and Screamer. In terms of my most anticipated games, the games that are like must-buys for me and the games that are like big maybes, definitely the biggest one for me is Crimson Desert. I think most people will agree that's going to be the biggest game of the month. Cannot wait for that one. Then like some of my big maybes, the games that I'm like definitely looking forward to and definitely considering buying, but want to just wait to see maybe more, maybe get my hands on sticks and all that stuff. Those are Screamer and John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, 2 games I am looking forward to and excited to see reviews and all that stuff. Oh, and also Ghost of Yotei Legends, definitely a must check out for me as well. And then everything else from like Marathon and like WWE 2K26 and Monster Hunter Stories 3 are definitely like excited to see how people think about those. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this one, again, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Maybe if I missed a game that you can't wait for, put in the comments. Put in the comments down below also what game you're most excited for, if it is Crimson Desert or if it is something else. And that'll be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.